cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2190, 2190. It's Mike Matthews. Here we are in a rainy Podcastro Valley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Did you hear the last show? It was great. It was awesome. Don't you know I had some people stop by? And that's great. So you should go back and listen to it. That was 2189. And that's also so fine because the show is called Auto. Hey, I got a text from someone who told me they also like Kath and Kim.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And they've watched the whole darn thing already. Oh, I only had 67 downloads this week.
Mike's
on Podomatic.
Daily.
That's Michael Matthews.
Podcast.
Podomatic.com.
Yeah.
And I've been on there for, like 11 years now. Isn't that crazy? I've been podcasting so long. But at least I'm number 32 this week in the self-help category, because I'm so about helping you with yourself. Help yourself. Hey, I'm also on this new thing called Verbal. Yes, in this world of Tumblr, Derbder, Snurber, there's Verbal, where they drop the vowels, what I was trying to do there. Yeah, it's not Twitter, it's Twitter, because it was pre all that craziness dropping vowel stuff. So Verbal is not spelled V-E-R-B-L-E, it's spelled V-U-R-B-L. Like that's going to catch on. But they are telling me, hey, Mike, you do a podcast. You should have a podcast on here. Check it out. And I really don't understand what's happening with it, but who knows? So I signed up for it, sort of. It's free, I think. I don't know. They asked a couple questions and they got a little invasive, and you got to watch out for that. Don't do that. Don't do that is what I'm saying. Did you ever see that skit on Saturday Night Live with, what are they called? The Noonies?
And here's today's podcast picture.
N-U-N-I. So I've been waking up lately at 4 o'clock. Oh, and that's not the podcast picture, me waking up at 4 o'clock. But I've been waking up at 4 o'clock lately. And this morning I was talking with my lovely lady friend who also happened to be up around 6:30. We're both like wide awake. And the Noonie skit came up, which was, I guess, a long time ago, because these guys look young. Fred Armisen, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dretch, Seth Meyers, and the guy Basil, Will Ferrell. Yes. Oh, and Will Ferrell has this thing about dissing your pets. I would never do that to you, Basil. The late great Basil the boxer. He's like, I'll rip your head off. But no, yeah, so it's basically Will Ferrell being passive aggressive with dogs. That's pretty funny. Thank you to Ken Luttrell, who was on the last podcast, for telling me about that. Because nothing makes, it's so funny. I have uploaded so many things to YouTube, and the only thing that got like the most views was of me with Basil the boxer, and I'm talking at the camera and Basil's looking at me like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop that. What are you doing? Shoot. Now I can't find it. Somebody sent me a very funny thing about being CC'd. And I am CCing that I probably have deleted it and I will never see it again. Oh no, here it is. Okay, reasons why you get CC'd in emails. It appears this came from something called, where did he get? The CooperReview.com. Oh, Matt Cooper. Matt Cooper, shoot. I just thought of Matt Cooper. Oh, I'm sad now. Matt Cooper passed away. He was younger than me, and he died, oh gosh. I don't mean to get all sad on you, but death is part of life, as we all know. About 5 years ago, he had a great podcast called Pod Zeppelin, and I had been podcasting for a while. We had worked back in Ventura together. In fact, fact, he used to do a morning show in Santa Barbara. That's right. On Hits 106.3. Yes, and that was like in the late 90s, so it was all early O's. So it was all Ricky Martin, Moby, Who Let the Dogs Out, the Baha Men, Jennifer Lopez, Mark Anthony, Britney Spears. The list goes on and on. Was Third Eye Blind in there? No, they were more mid-90s. So Matt Cooper, great guy. He died way too young. Stupid cancer. And by the way, he had fought cancer his whole life and he should have died long ago. I mean, the rest of us would have. But Matt Cooper was so freaking strong and he kept beating it back and saying, no, I shall not. I must continue on. So he was in radio. I would see him every day. This was in the late 90s. And we would discuss the latest South Park episodes. And he taught me all kinds of stuff about production, about producing cool commercials, cool sounding commercials. And he was just he had a great sense of humor, the kindest, sweetest guy, but he was also extremely cynical because life had thrown a lot of you-know-what at him. So he actually started a podcast called Pod Zeppelin, and I was doing Mike's Daily Podcast, and he actually messaged me on Facebook, and he said, hey, that's awesome, you're doing podcasts, have you tried this, like different services? I had no idea. He opened my eyes to all kinds of stuff in podcasting I didn't know. So anyway, Matt Cooper, I don't know if any of his stuff is still online. It should be, but I think you could probably Google him and find something about him. So here are things as we're about to go outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Reasons why I CC'd you on this email. To guilt you into doing something. To prove later that you knew about this. I thought it would be helpful. Reasons why I CC'd you on this email as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. As a power move to embarrass you for not doing something. Because you're my boss and I want you to see I'm online. There's one they missed, and that is to make it sound like I care. To make it sound like I'm a hard worker and I want you to see that I'm doing this and sing. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're tearing my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Oh, home. Simon and Garfunkel. Great, great band. Yes, I've sung them many times on this wonderful podcast. Should be Mike's Daily Bad Voice podcast singing thing. Yes, that makes good grammar. All right, the podcast picture today is of a beautiful view of, let's see, I think we're looking out at the area, overlooking San Leandro. I don't know. We'll do some picture from Fairmont Ridge. I was there. I'd go there today, but it was raining. Oh, how about the lovely sunset? Yes, from Fairmont Ridge. We'll do that. I went there with my lovely lady friend a couple weeks ago. You should get out this weekend. Get out and go around and say hi to people. But, wear a mask. Oh, and when you wear a mask, put the mask over your nose. I mostly see this with women because whatever, this is the deal. It's sexist. Mask makers are sexist. Mask makers make the masks for people with big frickin' heads and faces like moi. But they don't make it for people with little petite faces. Petite, beautiful faces. No. So, what's this mean? Kids are going to get more coronavirus. Women are going to get more coronavirus because a lot of women, I've seen a lot of women having to make the double loop on the back. So it'll take up some of that slack that's happening with the string that's supposed to go around your ears. Get on that, Fauci. Hey, look outside a cafe anyway. It's where we are, and that's where we're talking to people. Hello, Michael Mash. It's Madame Rootabega. I don't want to be too loud. Ooh. Yeah, when you're loud, the next door neighbors across the street, down the road a bit, they get all upset. And then they get mad, and they're Australian, and they come on over, and they go, why are you making that noise? Look at me, look at me, look at me. No, they don't do that, Michael Mash. Oh. Yes, they do. You're not around when it happens. I'm there, because I get CC'd on it, and I know about it. That's why I'm CC'd on it. Have you ever been CC'd? Yes. Do you like being CC'd? Yes. Do you like Simon and Garfunkel? No. What? What? Oh. All right. I guess it's a age thing. The older you are, you might like them. Who knows? Hey, look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And it's a Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Hey, Valentino, that holiday named after you is coming up in a couple weeks. Which one? Halloween? No, Valentino. Valentine's Day. Isn't that named after you? What? I don't know. Is that like a real day or something day? Yeah, you're making it up. Do you know that? It's something that was made up by the greeting card companies and not me. But since I have a lovely lady friend, I enjoy giving her a little something every year that comes from my heart, like a mask that fits, so that she won't get the COVID-19. Oh, do I have to tell you this story? I could tell you the story about the new strains of the coronavirus, but here's a positive thing. There's a cancer vaccine, a personalized cancer vaccine, speaking of cancer, because everything gives you cancer. There's no cure. There's no answer. Everything gives you cancer. Joe Jackson. A personalized cancer vaccine may help keep a deadly form of skin cancer from growing for years. They did a small study. Unlike vaccines that prevent infections such as measles and influenza, cancer vaccines are a form of immunotherapy that take down cancer cells that already exist. Marvelous. The vaccines train immune cells called T cells to better recognize cancer and target it for destruction while sparing healthy cells in the body. That's fantastic. For example, the new experimental vaccine works by training T cells to spot specific proteins on melanoma cells, a type of skin cancer. In the study, scientists found that the T cells continue to remember these proteins for at least 4 years after the vaccination, and they even learn to recognize more melanoma-related proteins over time. Wow. This, according to the Live Science website. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Tell me what you think about any of these topics that we covered today. Was that your favorite era of music, the one I was quoting earlier? The music that was getting played in constant rotation on Hits 106.3 in Santa Barbara? Or did you prefer the Simon and Garfunkel? Or maybe you preferred the Cars, like we were talking about last show? Or maybe you preferred world music? World music. World music. I like the term world music because it could refer to just about anything on the planet. And to me, that's good. Because it's a little bit of everything, like a smorgasbord. It should be called smorgasbord music. I think I'm done.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!